Alec, welcome to the wizarding world. We're here, the start of a long journey.
Mr. Potter, our new celebrity.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Here we are to talk about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
The
The very
Philosopher's
first,
Stone.
the Philosopher's Stone, as it was known, is basically everywhere except in the U.S. because I guess Scholastic thinks we're a bunch of dummies and uh,
Based, actually.
children can't know what the Philosopher's Stone is
Mm-hmm.
or other references to alchemy and such
They're
for
not ready
some
for it
reason.
yet. Not ready for it yet.
Not they're not ready for Nicholas Flamel. They're not ready for him.
Nicholas
All right. No
Flamel.
one no one's ready for Nicholas Flamel. All
Alright.
right. So
So this will be interesting. I haven't watched the Harry Potter movies since I first watched them. Growing up,
yeah.
and then when the later ones were in theaters. It's like
Mm,
I've never rewatched them. So I've only just
yeah.
just been in the freaking pop culture zeitgeist of just Harry Potter
Mm.
being talked about ever since. But
The this is a movie that actually it's been a few years since I've seen it. I used to watch it like them pretty regularly, particularly the early ones because whenever like Harry Potter marathons and stuff were on TV, like around Christmas and stuff or just general holidays,
right,
the first two or three films were usually the ones that were always on. They were on the most, and I think the reason for that is highly apparent. Very like this movie feels like a Christmas movie, despite the fact that Christmas is only in it for like 20 minutes or whatever. There's like the holiday season,
mm-hmm.
but this movie's always sort of felt that way. And I think the reason for that is legitimately down to who directed it and who scored it. John Williams is amazing at scoring Christmas stuff. We saw it with another Chris Columbus film called Home Alone,
Right,
which there's a lot tonally that feels like similar. It's not like there's not like the same sort of hijinks that Kevin McAllister gets up to or whatever, trapping his house from any of that sort of stuff. But
mm-hmm.
the general like color and warmth and of the picture quality it just feels like a warm blanket. You just drape that over you, especially once you get to Hogwarts in particular. It's like it just feels like I feel like I'm home again too.
Right.
You know,
Drape it over you like an
so
invisibility cloak.
just like an invisibility
Yeah,
cloak. Yeah.
get all snuggled up in it.
Mm, for
Yeah,
sure. So, what were your thoughts as somebody who hasn't really watched it in a long time?
I thought it was lovely. I thought it was if you pardon my language and you don't mind me saying so, it was magical. It was
Oh my goodness, there's no such thing as magic.
I don't know if we have any non-believers in the audience,
Yeah.
any
Well,
muggles
certainly not
amongst
any
us.
muggles here. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh,
No, not after today. I hope not after today.
I'm fine living in a muggleless world one day.
A muggleless world.
Yeah, I think it's
Um,
it's kind of like amazing how it all these years later it still feels really special by itself, and it's like it's easy to say now knowing how everything turns out, but it really feels like the start of something special. Like
yeah.
you got something here, and it's like they do such a great job of immediately like putting you in that world and like immersing you in it right out the gate, and it's like you're sold, you're in there. I love it. I love this movie.
Yeah, I think when director similarity and all that stuff aside, I think the thing to me that's the most special and yeah, dare I also say magical about this is how did you ever growing up? Did you ever read anything by Roald Dahl?
I don't think so.
J.K. Rowling's often been compared to him, and I think specifically for this first book because this is one that feels the most. Uh, so Roald Dahl, for those of you who don't know, for anyone in the audience who doesn't know, wrote books like The BFG or James and the Giant
Hmm.
Peach. The Witches is another one I think of his. Witches is something I think. Um, shoot, there's another one. There's another like obvious one. Oh, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is another
Really
one. That those are Roald Dahl books.
nice.
And then the Charlie and the Glass Elevator, Willy Wonka and the Glass Elevator, whatever it was called. And there's a very distinct like feeling of like you have this outcast character, and then he gets brought to this special world where like he belongs again. Like now, like it's a place where, especially the end of the movie feels like the most Roald Dahl thing ever. Where it's like, oh, it feels weird to be going home, doesn't it? And he's like, I'm not going home, not really. It's like he's leaving home, and it's just like,
Right.
it's such a I mean, even if this was like the only movie, it feels just like a perfect little
Yeah, it's true.
uh, capsule of just warmth and good feelings, and like finding it's finding a it's like found family is really kind of what a lot of Roald Dahl has. Matilda, I think, is him too. So a lot of concepts of like found family, and finding acceptance for who you are and that sort of thing. That's all over this movie, and I mean, it's wonderful and it's magical.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the movie also is just like about building out the different mechanics of the world and just the goofy, fun hijinks that happen from that.
Right.
Um,
And
yeah, and
they really hit the ground running with the whole Hermione, Ron, and Harry trio. Like they
mm,
immediately, like I'm all in on them as a little friend group, and they're like,
mm,
it feels authentic. I like how they have their little hiccup with how they Ron talks about Hermione, and then she's crying about it, and then they're able to
mm,
patch it up. It's not like they're just instantly all the best of friends, but it's like
mm.
it feels real with that kind of stuff. And I like how they set
Yeah,
the
when you're,
foundation for that.
kids could be just horribly mean to each other, but that, sometimes without even realizing it, or maybe with realizing it, but like kind of like just whatever, brushing it off.
hmm
Um,
and I mean,
yeah.
Hagrid's such a great character to bring you into that world, right? Because he's like
Oh,
just his
oh my
presence
God,
alone is like
Robbie.
otherworldly.
Okay, so let's talk about the cast of this movie.
hmm
The One of the most perfect casts I could ever think of to assemble of fine British actors
Right.
to bring to the table. I mean, yeah, it's just stunning. I every like again, being a few years separated from watching it again, it's really just coming back to really appreciate even more like how like perfect they pinpoint cast all of these people. I mean, even someone like as simple as like she's not even like that important of a character, but like Madam Hooch, the
Right.
Quidditch professor.
Yeah.
There's a British comedy show that my parents were showing me like about a month or two ago that she's in, and she is hilarious. She's not really funny in this, as that's not really her role, but like I was like, they almost could have like made her maybe more funny in that. Like she's a fine actress in and of herself. So it's like even like smaller bit characters like that really have like tons and tons of different talent. Just bringing to the forefront here. Man, what a cast! I just
Absolutely.
can't get over how good everyone is. And yeah, I think it goes to I think Robbie Coltrane really as Hagrid is just like to me I think he was probably the best part of the movie.
But even as just like simply as a plot device, like this character being a transition into the magical
Mm,
world is like it's so good. It works so well
mm,
because it's
yeah,
like he's clearly he's just like immediately is like not of this world almost, and
yeah. He's a giant man, you know,
and he just
larger than
swoops in like right when you want him to, and it's like they do a great job of like making you obviously hate this the family that he's
yes.
with.
That's that's another very Roald Dahl thing. Is that is that the people the like the characters who are like down on our hero are just like kind of cartoonishly evil
Exactly. It's
to a
like there's
degree.
no gray area. It's not like, oh, I feel a little bad that like they mean well.
Yeah,
There's like no part of it that you feel bad that Harry's getting taken out of that situation. It's like all
right.
upside.
And that gets fleshed out in the later books. I don't remember. I don't think the movies flesh it out as well as they do, but especially this first book. I mean, if from memory, the very opening of the first book is actually like it's actually kind of goes by like a day in the life of Vernon Dursley, like all about his like it's like it was like the Dursleys it was something. The first line is like the Dursleys were a perfectly normal family. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's like the first line of the book.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean that does set the tone for just how like
The fact
horrible they are.
the fact that they're bombarding him with the Hogwarts letters so much so
Mhm.
that they move out to this like tower in the middle of the ocean, like this
It's
freaking
so,
it's crazy.
it's so ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the fact
Yeah.
that at the end of everything, like we end the movie with him going back is like, okay, we're just fine with sending him back to those conditions. That's like there's no one can step in here.
He's he's got to go back. He's got to go back, and they explain that later too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got to go back every summer. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, like you mentioned earlier, the music. I feel like the music is a
Mm.
key part of the identity of making this movie so magical. Like it's
Oh,
integral to everything coming together. It's just iconic.
my favorite. I think my favorite motif in the whole film isn't like the main Hedwig's theme or anything like that. It's not the Quidditch theme, which is also very fun, very fun, very whimsical and magical. No, the I think my favorite motif in the whole theme is the I don't I don't remember what the cue is called. Like I don't know what the general theme is, but it's usually like Harry and Hagrid or Harry's like just relationship with like Hogwarts in general, where it's like it plays during the scene where it's like his very first night in the dormitory, and he's like sitting there looking out at the Black Lake with Hedwig. It plays there, and then it plays at the very end of the movie, where Hagrid gives him the book that he has, where it pictures of his parents.
Hmm.
And so that theme is just like that. That's like to me is like the piece of the movie. That's like the central like that's like the emotional core of the film, and I love that. I've always loved that theme. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that was really magical. And now, of course, looking back at it now, so I think the first time I saw this movie, I was like 11 or 12 or something. So like looking back on that now is just like, oh, it's welled up. I'm almost
Right.
that's like almost 20 years ago when I saw this movie, you know. So it's like, um, yeah.
Right. It's cool. It's crazy how iconic the music is to where just like hearing that music is so
Mm,
nostalgic. Like I didn't have to watch the movie for years and years to like immediately just it takes you back there. Like I feel like the main theme itself is even like it probably wouldn't get enough credit these days just because people are so used to it. It's just like, oh, that's the Harry
mm,
Potter theme, but you don't think to give it credit for actually like existing when nothing like it didn't exist before. Like they had to start this movie like going into this world, and they came up with that theme. So it's like
yeah.
you got to give props for that.
Yeah, I mean yeah, I mean John Williams has like continually made music that just like evokes film and like generational like memory and joy. It's like I don't know how that man. I mean, take in the Wagnerian and Holstein tradition of coming up with the most like fantastic and memorable themes to movies. I mean, I don't think they're ever going to have anyone like him again because you look at film scores these days, it's a very different beast than it was even just 20 years ago. Um, so yeah, I mean, amazing. He did it for Star Wars in the '70s. He did it uh, for Indiana Jones. He did it for Star Wars again around this period of time too. He was also composing Star Wars around this time still. And say you will about the prequels, we've gone to gory details about it, but the music in those movies is fantastic. So you can't take that away from them.
Sure.
And yeah, so he was still man was still at the top of his game right here, for sure.
Definitely, the Harry Potter theme is almost as good and almost as iconic as the Halloween Town theme. It's just that good. I couldn't help when they showed the Nimbus 2000. Yes. I couldn't help but think of the Windsweeper 5000 from Halloween Town. It's
the Nimbus 2000.
Needed that.
It's the fastest one yet.
Needed that salesman there, really driving it home for us.
I can quote. I was realizing I was quoting along the movie, like through part of it, and I was like, "Bless my housemate Mike, who was watching it with me." But I'm like, man, I know this movie so well.
Right.
Even still, even a few years after I haven't watched it in a while, I still am like.
So a couple other things worth mentioning. Main things is that the Hogwarts castle itself, that's another piece of the magic. That's another way they instantly pull you in. That and like Diagon Alley, it's like wow, these are these are awesome.
That Diagon Alley scene is just like it's so fun. They really like that set, and the matte painting. I mean, just all of it just feels so like fun and like otherworldly, but also familiar. It's I don't know, they did such a great job with all of the, I would say most of the film techniques that they used in this, other than the special effects, which have not aged very well. I will say that those haven't aged well very well at all.
Shout out to the video game characters in the Quidditch.
Oh no. Okay, yeah. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But a lot of the like traditional techniques, like the forced perspective, I think they're still. I don't know this for certain, but I remember when the films were being made, people asked Robbie Coltrane like how did they make you do that? And I remember him saying like, well, there's like some techniques that they did, they have, there's some body doubles and stuff, but he's like, but there's a couple techniques that I can't really tell you about. So there's like some that's probably been solved. People probably know. I haven't really looked it up to figure out how exactly they did a lot of that, but a lot of the traditional techniques that they used and utilized in this movie, those matte paintings, man, are so good. They did, or it's just like there's movie magic. They did that, but unfortunately, because this is in 2001.
Yeah.
There's some bits of it that have suffered slightly.
I love when the Quidditch scene and when the girl gets spun around and they like stay on her for a little, just long enough so you can notice that she's like literally a video game character they dropped in there.
Neville the video game character is the worst. Neville the video game character, because the camera's like right up on him, like really close at one point. I'm like, that's not Neville. Get that thing away from me.
Okay, can we talk about Quidditch though?
Oh yeah, sure. I love Quidditch.
I love Quidditch. You play it. You play it all the time, don't you?
No, yeah, all the time. Yeah, constantly. Yeah. I had that Harry Potter, the Quidditch World Cup game. That was a lot of fun.
I never played it. I did have it. I think I ended up giving that to Rusty. Maybe it might have been one of those.
Yeah. It's a good one.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's another one of those things. It's like building out this Hogwarts, that and like the little things like the sorting hat, the different houses. They all like just these little things that build the school and the magical school of it all. They build that up. I just can't help but think like how dangerous Quidditch is.
Yes.
And, like,
yes, it is.
Like, how are they surviving these falls? Like there's so many
children play this
feet high in the air. Like, and it's just okay to like bully people and like send them spiraling down falling down.
Yeah, they never really quite explain that. Especially because in a later movie, we're gonna see Harry like fall like over like almost 200 feet or something, and well, Dumbledore like saves him with that one. He did like some magic to like save him. But like these people are falling like a good like 30 feet. It's like that can't be good.
Do witches and
That can't
wizards
be.
have some like superhuman like strength that we don't know
Do,
about?
do they have John Wick stamina or constitution or something like where they
Yeah,
can
because
just
like
take a
Jesus
beating and
Christ,
keep
they
moving?
take a big fall,
Yeah.
and it's not like a hands-off game. You just feel free to push people around.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's literally people casting hexes like in the game. Like there's so many
Well,
uncontrolled
that's not
variables.
legal.
That's not
That's
illegal,
not
but it's
supposed to be
like
legal.
yeah,
Yeah.
how you no one's policing this. It's just
Yeah.
like so much stuff could go wrong. It's like okay, I guess
Yeah.
magic. But
Yeah. I like the uh someone did disappear once, but they showed up in a month or two.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Um,
And I do like the whole little bait and switch with Snape, where it's like it looks like
yeah,
he's casting the hex on him.
yeah, yeah. They play up the Snape as he's a crazy professor who doesn't like Harry.
He just clearly looks like he's up to no good.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, pretty much
very clearly
all the time.
Just,
Very clearly looks like he's up to no good. But
like his even just his appearance, his character design is like intended to look like he's up to no good.
yep. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, Harry's just a naturally gifted Quidditch player. He's pulling out all the maneuvers. He's standing on that broom, and then he straight up catches it in his mouth, and it's like almost like by accident. It feels like he's like surprised that something's in his mouth.
Yeah, what it was.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it was it was an accident. He tried to
What a
grab it.
catch.
He accidentally swallowed it.
how do you accidentally swallow something you're trying to grab?
Because if you slip, if you're like going like that, you slip and then
It sounds like my kind
Just
of
happens.
Friday night.
yeah, okay. That's TMI, Zach. TMI. Yeah, that's a fun little goofy thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually the very first scene I ever saw of this movie. Because back in the day, the Borders books near me, back when Borders still existed. Boy, those were the days. But the Borders near me had I remember they had like a series of like TVs where they would like be showing off like movies and stuff. And I remember I sat and I watched the Quidditch scene of Sorcerer Stone. And I was like, "Ooh, this is fun. It's kind of fun. This is a fun movie." I remember enjoying it, and then the rest is history. I watched it. I watched it later on in life, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. This was
The rest is history.
The rest
20,
is- the rest
20
is
years
history.
later, I would go on to play
Yeah.
Harry Potter.
I would be the rest is history. I would be Harry Potter in a stage production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Yes, that's right.
And
It's
then
a beautiful thing. You know,
Yeah.
everyone starts as a humble Harry Potter fan.
no, we started at the bottom and now we're here.
A Potterhead.
So
So
the
Draco Malfoy is another little
Mhm.
bugger that is
Mhm.
very clearly up to no good. Like you're very clearly antagonistic character from the beginning. I mean, Harry Potter
Yeah.
even says it to him. He's like, I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. Like you're very clearly the kind of kid I should not be hanging out with. Like, you're not kidding anyone. He's cool. I mean, he's. This is just This is just like elementary Draco, like
Yeah.
school bully kind of deal.
Yeah, we've got there's a deleted scene actually where they even have a little bit more of like Neville gets there's a thing where it's I don't remember everything that happened exactly in it, but like Neville gets bullied by him, and actually in the deleted scene they're like, Neville, you've got to start standing up for yourself. And then I think there's a bit too where like where I think like there's actually a really good like a funny bit where like I think Seamus is like, oh, I'll fix it for you, and he's like, yeah, that's all I need, you to set my bloody kneecaps on fire. And old Seamus Finnegan. the most Irish sounding name that J.K. Rowling could come up with, I guess. It's just an explosive. He's the explosive boy.
Hmm.
We all had him in school. You remember the kids that
Oh,
like to blow things up
yeah.
and set things on fire. We all had him. We all knew him. I actually did know a kid that liked to set things on fire, but maybe not blow things up, but yeah. Like
Hopefully,
I don't.
hopefully not animals.
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know. I don't know where he ever ended up, so who knows? But
I mean, there's so
yeah.
many things that you think you would look out for. Like growing up, there was a kid who was obsessed with like he would have like notebooks of like weapons.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I seem to remember that too, huh?
It's
Oh.
like he obsessed with different kinds of guns and like nuclear bombs, and I'm like looking back, I'm like, hope he's doing well.
And he's just like, yeah, I know. Yeah, well, okay, I hope so too. Um,
Anyway,
yeah,
there's a lot of
but
fun little iconic scenes throughout this movie as well.
mm,
The
mm-hmm.
whole troll scene, which is the
No,
troll
yeah,
the troll as a design isn't the most inspired Harry Potter design,
no,
but
it's just
it makes for a fun moment. I still do not understand why Hermione lied. Can you explain that to me? Could she not have just told them the truth and the same thing is accomplished? Like, she lies
she
and
didn't
says
want.
it's my fault. All she had to say was they came and rescued me. It served the same purpose. Like, how does she have to take the
Yeah,
fall for being in the bathroom and not knowing there's an emergency going on? And
I don't know. I feel like she was. It was like in a way that she was showing solidarity with Harry and Ron, where she was like trying to, because they may have gotten in trouble by,
yeah, I
I
get
don't
the
know, by doing that
purpose,
or
but
something.
it's like
Yeah.
it just seems silly to me that she had to make up this story when like she did nothing wrong. She was just out in the bathroom when a troll was on the loose.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like I can't, because it's been even longer since I've read the books. I'm trying to remember if that might have been like just sort of a trans. They basically just like took the lines from the book and put it in the movie. Because these, in terms of adaptations, these first two in particular are very faithful. One might even say maybe a little too faithful. That being said, they still do feel like a warm hug, so it's kind of hard to be upset at them. For
Hmm.
despite the fact that there's so that may have been like something where it worked better in the book because there was a little bit more like details to that somehow. I don't really know, but um
I
in
just
any
couldn't
case,
help but think that. I'm like,
yeah,
she,
well,
she did nothing wrong. It's not like she ran out and like went to fight the troll herself, and they had to go save her.
so I will say I like the general like tone and the general um like I guess vibe of the film.
Hmm.
The direction is not the most interesting, or I should say, it's not like there's nothing like overly like wow or amazing about the general direction. Like the cinematography isn't like stellar. There's nothing like really like wow or zip to it. It's just it's kind of a very like it feels like a movie. And
Right.
I mean, I guess that's all you kind of want. Um, but it does. It's hard to. It's sort of hard to like to just judge this on its own merits rather than because later
Hmm.
movies I think are directed much better.
It's so much of a
Um,
legacy movie, it
yeah,
set the foundation for so much to come.
yeah. Well, I even think that some of the direction is a little better in the second movie. But again, it's been a while. But in terms of an adaptation, though, it's pretty much everything you'd want. They've got basically everything there that you
Um,
could possibly want.
yeah.
I mean, you're adapting a 250-page book into a movie. I feel like you pretty much got the script right there, more or less. It's not you don't have to cut too much out, and they didn't really cut anything out from my. They, I think there was like there's a scene where like some of the where Neville because it's like, oh, you guys are gonna get Gryffindor in trouble again, and that's because they had gotten Gryffindor in trouble in an earlier scene that wasn't in the movie, where I think like Malfoy challenge Harry and Ron to like a duel or something, um, or something. They're like, we're gonna meet in the third floor corridor. Is that actually originally how they found Fluffy? was because he was challenging them to a duel or something in the third floor corridor. He never showed up. It was just a trick. He was trying to trick them into to going in there.
Hmm.
But then like Hermione like sneaks out and tells on them and stuff, and so like that's already like a little bit of an antagonistic thing with when it comes between them, because she's very much like, we got to follow the rules, and you're breaking the rules. You're going out after dark, and so
Yeah.
But then, through the Halloween stuff, and they come around. She starts to come around and understand. So another iconic scene, the chess game. I love that. I've always loved
chess,
that.
Yes.
The Wizard's chess scene is I've always really liked that. It's very good.
Yeah, and I mean Hermione and Ron both have like their like hero moment, like like go on without me sort of moment. And Hermione is her biology knowledge coming in clutch, and then Ron with the wizard's chess. I like how he made the ultimate sacrifice, but it was like, okay, you just kind of got hurt a little bit. It wasn't really that serious. It was
well, he got knocked out, so
but it's like
but then again, so did Harry got knocked out too,
and then ultimately, Harry's the big the golden boy. He has to go on and do the thing.
He's the hero. He's doing the hero thing. He's our protagonist. So I also really like just everything with Dumbledore and Harry in this movie is also really special. The Mirror of Erised stuff is some of the more like thought-provoking and interesting stuff in the film, and there's not like a lot of time spent on it, but it is one of those things that like it really does sort of like in terms of like a magical item, like it's we have playing D&D. This is like a joke that me and Mike were having this whole time. It was like, holy crap, look at all the legendary items they have in this campaign, in this little campaign. They've got a cloak of invisibility. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. You have this wondrous mirror. Like, that's kind of a magical thing. And the Philosopher's Stone. It's like, wow, look at all these high caliber magic items you've got in this. But yeah, the Mirror of Erised in its sort of role is really interesting, especially because Dumbledore then uses it as a means to hide the Sorcerer's Stone in away from Voldemort, who he had suspected was going to try to find some way to get it.
He who shall not be named. All right, maybe can you respect our viewers a little bit, not just throw that out
okay. There. He who must not be named, yeah.
One thing I wanted to say is that I felt Dumbledore did them incredibly dirty when he announced the results of the House Cup. Can we give it up?
Oh yeah.
He announced the results and then retroactively added more points, which then changed the results he just announced.
He didn't quite officially announce them.
He didn't
officially. He was like, okay, well, Slytherin did all that. That's great. Okay, but I have some last minute ones too.
No, but he said like in third place, in second place.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, in first place.
Yeah, in first place.
Well done, Slytherin. Well done, Slytherin.
These are kids. You can just pull the rug out from under them, like.
Yeah, he just activated his reverse trap card.
That was so dirty.
Yeah.
And they made sure to give him just enough points to edge him out, upset the whole thing. It's like, yeah.
Now, Dumbledore was a Gryffindor, so he probably, he wanted to stick it a little bit to the Slytherins. So
your Gryffindor bias. So you can see how there could easily be such corruption in these house points. Like, how you can have professors bias. Like Professor Snape, who is Slytherin bias, and like. They're going to be tipping the scales on these points. Throwing out points.
You can say that, but McGonagall's head of Gryffindor house, and she's very harsh. 50 points each. It's as though Ron, Harry, and Hermione got 150 points deducted from Gryffindor in one go. And Slytherin got 50 points deducted there, too, so that's something. But,
yeah, I mean, that was rough. But, I mean, that's also like an I have to make sure I don't look biased kind of thing. But you can just see that, like it's just ripe for corruption. That whole system.
It kind of is. But here's Slytherin must have done really well. I mean, because you can't just have I mean, you could theoretically just have Snape giving points to Slytherin all the time. But theoretically, you think about it. I wonder if they probably have like faculty reviews where they're like, No, you can't. I see. I'm looking through Snape. You've been given a lot of points to Slytherin. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like,
Right. You have to go over like the receipt of like the points you give
yeah,
out.
you have to go through the receipts. Yeah. Um,
Wait, did
but
they say at the end like what you got for winning? What the house
you
got?
win the House Cup.
You win the house
You get
cup.
the Great Hall is decorated
Oh,
in
that's right.
in
They
your
they changed all the banners.
yep, your
That's
banner.
all
So the
you're
banners are
paying
decorated.
for. Yeah.
Yep, yep. The banners are decorated, but you also get like you win the House Cup, and it's like, oh, you get some honors and whatever for this year, for 1992 or whenever this exactly took place. I don't remember specifically. Maybe it's 91.
Hmm.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
he
yeah.
won.
I
He
mean,
wins.
I wouldn't be that obsessed with the points. I'm sure there's some people out there just don't care about the points at that rate. But I would be
Mm.
pissed if I was Slytherin and they they did that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just could not get
Dang.
over
Yeah.
that. I'm
Just
like,
like
you didn't have to
getting
do it like that.
absolutely cucked.
Like
Well,
it's like literally just for like the movie like big reveal, but it's like
so they don't. If memory serves, they don't do this in the second movie. But I remember in the second book, Dumbledore awards Harry and Ron 150 points each, along with special awards for services to the school. But we'll get to that next week.
okay.
But I remember in the book he specifically gives them like basically just dumps 300 points on them for doing that.
Well, yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, we're never told like how you're supposed to weight these points. It seems like they're just kind of
Yeah,
fast and loose with how they're throwing out points.
yeah. Like McGonagall only gave them 10 points for killing a mountain troll for knocking a mountain troll unconscious. I mean, like
Ridiculous.
that's a pretty big deal. But it's like, oh, yeah, 10 points. But actually, it's really only 5 points because she deducted 5 points from Hermione. So,
Ridiculous. I think
ridiculous.
they deducted points from Hermione when objectively she was just in the bathroom crying when a troll came and attacked. Like the professors let that happen.
Yeah.
Like okay.
I know. It's, who knows? Who knows?
It's crazy.
But
It's crazy.
it's crazy. Corruption. Corruption most high.
What would you give this movie out of 10?
I think I give this movie an 8 out of 10.
An 8. All right.
Mm-hmm. It's a very warm, fuzzy movie. I love it. Lots of childhood nostalgia. Lots of great memories baked into the score and the just general vibes that it gives. It's not perfect. It's not my favorite. I will say we didn't really touch on it too much, but I don't think Emma Watson was a very good actress in this movie. She was sort of she was better in certain scenes, like when she was like really like the speech she gives to Harry at the end, I think is like really good. And I think there's some other like deliveries that she's really good at, but overall I didn't think she was all that great. If I'm being honest, I didn't think Rupert Grint was amazing through all of it either. I'm trying not to be overly critical because they were literally 12 years old. But
You are being too critical.
I am being maybe a little too
Emma
critical.
Watson
but
made that character like she's an instant standout character. Like when you watch that movie,
she's an
like
instant classic.
you're
She's an
instantly
instant.
like you're instantly Hermione.
Oh,
fan.
I
At
mean
least that's how
her scene
I
on
think.
her scene on the train is great. She's great there. Absolutely.
And Rupert Grint, I mean,
You've got
Ron is
you've got
instantly
dirt on
charming
your
too.
nose.
Like I think they killed it. I think they kill it as the friendship, it's wholesome little friend group, and they just work so well together. It's just wholesome. All right.
It was
What
good.
do
They
I
did
give
good.
it? What do I
They
give
did a
it?
good job.
I feel like you're not giving it enough credits. It should be higher, but I'm not sure how
We've
high.
got a lot of other movies here, Zach. I can't give them all the same score.
Yeah, but that's not fair. It's not fair. Everything you just
But this is I
it's like a new hope. It's like a new hope for Harry Potter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I could bump it. I could probably bump it to an
You
8.5.
don't have to bump it. I'm just saying I'm gonna bump it at
Okay.
the very least.
You bump it.
Bump it.
Bump it.
All right. I mean, 8.5. I give it an 8.5. All right.
All right,
I
cool.
was
There
thrown
you go.
between that and a 9 actually, but I'll leave some room, okay, just for you.
Yes. Leave some room for Alec. Just in your
Right.
heart.
So
Leave
Tarqaron
some
score
room
of
for.
8.25. I don't know. It's truly a magical movie.
Yeah.
I think if we didn't know the other movies were coming, we would give it a higher though. That's the only thing. So that's what I'm
I,
torn about.
yeah, it's possible. But there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for not improvement too.
But
So there's
it
that.
stands on its own 2 feet. Like you said, if it was by itself, it would still be.
You know what? You're right. You're right. You're dang right. I'm gonna give it an 8.5, and I'm not doing that just because I feel bad. I think you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I even said that at the beginning. This movie does stand a little bit well on its own, and for its head and shoulders, I give it an 8.5. So it
Yeah.
has a Tarkron score of
Tarqaron
8.5
scored
instead.
8.5. I was very
Yeah.
tempted to give it a 9, honestly, but
Mm.
I'll leave it at that. All right. Because I actually don't know, like whether are considered the best Harry Potters or like the worst Harry Potters and whatnot, and I've never really thought about it because I only watched them growing up. So it'll be interesting to
Hmm.
see how it goes. All right. So thank you for watching. Now, what video would you recommend our viewers watch?
Go check out our review of Star Wars: A New Hope,
A New
which
Hope.
you did. Yeah. Yeah. Go check it out.
Yeah. Ironically, I might have given A New Hope an 8.
I
No,
think you
I
did.
gave an 8.5. Maybe I
Oh,
didn't.
maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, come back next week. We'll be reviewing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. All right.
Mm.
So thank
All
you for
right.
watching. Subscribe to the channel. Like the
Yeah.
video. Leave a comment. And if you leave a comment, we're always going to be reading your comments on the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. So check that out as
Hmm.
well. All
Yeah.
right.
Do it
Subscribe
up.
to the channel and hit the notification bell. All right.
All right. Cool
Get out
beans.
of here.